Hello everyone, I'm Jennifer. Welcome back to Crafty Bones. And today off the hook we have our little spud friend. So potatoes done. We're going to turn the camera around. We're going to get started with the tutorial. Alright, be right back. Alright, here we are everyone. We're going to make this spud-tastic little fellow. He is the latest in our line of vegetable amigurumi. What I am using for mine is this beige color. Actually came from a Yarnspirations mystery bag, so I know that it's a worsted weight acrylic, but I don't know anything more than that. I assume it was like a Karen 1-pounder. All right, and we're gonna need a scrap of black, stitch markers or some way to count. I am using a 5mm hook. You're going to need some eyeballs, whatever color you choose, some scissors, and of course yarn needles. You're going to need a pretty long one for this, but the one I'm using is like 3 inches total including the eye, so that did it just fine for me. Alright, let's get this stuff cleared away and get started. Alright, as always, I prefer to start with a magic circle. So yarn goes around your fingers twice. It's going to cross on the palm side and be straight on the other side. Under the first, over the second, and then chain. It's really not that hard. Okay, so for our first round, we're going to chain up, and we're going to put 5 single crochet into the magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to cinch it tight, and we are going to slip stitch into our first stitch. And that is our first round. So round 2 is going to be an increase round. Chain 1, and into that same space, you can see if you pull on that yarn, there's a little gap right there. Into that space, we're going to put 2 single crochet. 1, 2. Into each stitch around now, we're going to place 2 single crochet, ending round 2 with 10 stitches. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Again, we're going to slip stitch back where we came from. Alright, that's 10 stitches in round 2. For round 3, we're going to continue to increase, and we're going to chain up 1 and put 2 single crochet into that same space that we slip stitch. So right where that little triangle gap is, right there. There's going to be 2 single crochet in there. 1, 2, the next one is by itself. 3, and the next 2 are together. So 4 and 5 are together. There's 4, 5, 6 is by itself. 7 and 8 are together. 9 is by itself. 10 and 11 are together. 12 is by itself. 13 and 14 are together. And 15 is by itself here in this last stitch. And again, we're going to connect using a slip stitch to that first single crochet. All right, that is the completion of round 3. For round 4, we're still continuing to increase. So chain up 1 and put 2 single crochet into that first stitch. 1, 2. So the next 2 are going to be by themselves. So 3 and 4 will be separate. So there's 3 and 4. 5 and 6 will be together. 7 and 8 will be separate. 9 and 10 together. 11 and 12 separate. 13 and 14 will be together. 15 and 16 will be separate. 17 and 18 will be together. 19 and 20 will be separate. All right, that takes us to the end of the round. We're going to slip stitch back where we came from here. But I think that might be the chain up, so let's count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So no, that was not. This is our final stitch here. It just looked a little tight. If you're ever in doubt, oops, sorry about that. Okay, so round 5, still increasing, chain 1, 2 single crochet into the first stitch. So 1 and 2. The next 3 will be separate. 3, 4, and 5. 6 and 7 will be together. 8, 9, and 10 will be separate. 11 and 12 are together. 13, 14, and 15 will all be separate. 16 and 17 will be together. 17, 18, and 19. That doesn't sound right. It should have been 18, 19, and 20. So let's count again. We should have 20. This will give us 21 and 22, 23, 24, and 25. So we are good right now. 21 and 22. 23, 24, 25, and we're going to slip stitch into our first stitch. If you hear some banging, I apologize. I'm having a floor replaced. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. For round 6, chain 1, 2 single crochet into the first one. And then for the next 4, they're going to be separate. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's one section. So now we're going to increase here. 7 and 8 will be together. And then the next 4 will be separate. So 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, complete that pattern around. I'll be right back. Here is 29 and 30. That brings us back where we started from. Slip stitch. That's the end of round 6. For round 7, we're going to have groupings of 7 stitches. So chain up 1, put 2 single crochet into the first one. That's 1 and 2. and for the next 5 stitches it's going to be single. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we know we need to increase. 8 and 9 will go together, and then we need to get to the next 7, which is 14. So here we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And here's where we would start with 2 single crochet again, so finish that pattern all the way around. 33, 34, and 35. That's the end of round 7. Slip stitch. Round 8, still increasing. Chain up 1, 2 single crochet into the first stitch there, so 1, 2. And for round 8, you're going to complete 6 separate single crochets for the next 6 stitches. So we have 2, we need to get to 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now we need to increase. 9 and 10 will be together. That's 10, and then we need to go to 16, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to complete that pattern all the way around with an increase right here. So 17 and 18 will go here, and I'll meet you back at the end. Here's our 40th stitch, and we're going to slip stitch back where we began. So that's row 8. We now have 40 stitches. For row 9, again, we're going to be multiples of 9 now because it's row 9. So chain up 1 and 2 single crochet into the first stitch. 1, 2. We're going to follow up with 7 by themselves. 3, 4. Let me get some string here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Increase in this one. 10 and 11 together. And then we're going to go all the way to 18 before we increase again. Same pattern. I'll meet you at the end. 44 and 45. That is the last stitch for row 9. 45 stitches. So round 10 is going to be our last increase row. So for round 10, chain up 1, 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And now for 8 stitches, going to be 1 single crochet into each of those 8 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because this is the 10th row, we know we need 10 total stitches before we increase. So 11 and 12 will be our increases. And then we'll do 8 more single crochet. Complete that pattern all the way around, 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, followed by 8 single crochet. 47, 48, 49, 50, and we're going to slip stitch into our first stitch. Sure we are. All right, so that is it for our increases. So we have 50 stitches. It's mostly round. If you look at it, you can see that it's actually a pentagon because we started off with 5 stitches. Draw that tighter from inside. You don't need to worry about tying that end in. It's going to be inside. So now we need to get from this to this. And what this is 32 rows of 50 single crochet. It's a bit tedious, and I won't lie, it took me a while because I was just bored out of my mind. But we're gonna go from rows 11 to row 42 and do 50 single crochet all the way around. So we're gonna get to here, or from here to here. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys do that. Put me on pause, stop me, close YouTube, go sit and watch TV. Try to keep your counts at 50 though. It's important to keep the body in a uniform size. All right, I'll see you later. All right, here we have 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. That is the 50th stitch of row 42. So I'm going to pull up a little bit of a loop there. So I want you to see this seam. I don't know if you can clearly see it in real life. I don't know about in the camera. You can pick it up a little bit. So there's the seam right there. I want to make sure that that goes onto the back of the potato. So that's why I've gotten this flattened out like this. You can adjust it how you think it should look. But then I want you to turn the potato over, grab yourself some black thread. We're going to put the mouth on now. Okay, so right at the top here, this is where we're going to start reducing and taking it back down rounded like this. So I figure my eyes should be close to the top, so I want to put my mouth down in this area. Okay, you can sew your mouth on however you want. I typically try to follow the rows that the single crochet created. So pull your yarn through, but leave a nice little tail. And then whatever width you're comfortable with, go back in there. Again, you can sew this in however you want. Then I like to come out in some and down a row. Same thing here. Okay, so you can use a narrow mouth like this, and then you're going to come up here in the middle and go across again. Sometimes I like to go a little wider. But you need to fill this in as you see fit, not how as I see fit. You don't even have to have a mouth. In fact, the first pattern that I wrote for Amigurumi, the carrot, the first time I made it, I did not even put a mouth on it. So I'm just going to go back through here and fill these in. Just trying not to come up in the exact same place that I went down every time. It won't work very well. So I'm going back and forth from the top to the bottom. Like I said, just fill it in however you want. Make the mouth look the way you want it to look. So I think we'll come up on the edge there and come back down on the edge here. Fill in that spot a little bit. Come in here, and we'll just go back down in there, just so it looks most of the way filled in. It's up to you how fully you fill it in. You could even take your time and embroider on an actual mouth with lips and teeth and a tongue. It just doesn't really matter. It's just all about how much you want to fill it in. All right, so let's get this tied off. All right, so I've put a couple more stitches into the front. When you end, you want to end near where you started. So you have these 2 pieces of yarn to tie together, and then just make a simple knot. Tie it as many times as you feel comfortable with. Try not to pull really tightly when you first start because it will cinch the fabric in the front. All right, so that's done. We'll cut those off. And now we're going to turn this way again to place our eyes. So you want to make sure that your eyes go in the same row across. So I'm going to come down 3 rows and I'm going to put it towards the corner of the mouth. Again, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I want to go a little further apart. There, I like the way that looks. So we're gonna clip it. I think I said before, the best place that I found to get eyes is Hobby Lobby. I get a lot more eyes for a lot better price, and they're larger. The ones that Joann Fabrics carries in stock are, if you want this size, they're solid black. All right, so from this point, I want you to grab your fiber fill, and we're going to fill to about here. It's easier to fill before you have it completely, or before you're closing up here, but too much down here and it makes it really hard to crochet the top. So let's grab our fiber fill. Okay, so I have the bottom of them filled in a little bit, not too much, but when we get closer to the top, we're going to really stuff the bottom of this and really stuff the middle of this. The reason being is we're going to push the stuffing down further than we want it to be so that we can close the top without the fiber fill getting in the way. And then we're going to roll like this and make the potato a uniform size all the way from top to bottom. But to do that, we need to overstuff the bottom so that we end up with enough stuffing in it. Okay, this is where we're going to start our reductions. And it's the opposite of when we were increasing. So we're going to crochet chain 1, and then single crochet 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to single crochet 2 together. So you're going to go into the first stitch and yarn over, into the second stitch and yarn over. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. We now have created 1 stitch out of 2. So again, we're going to go to 8 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to single crochet 2 together. Through the stitch and yarn over, through the next stitch and yarn over, 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through. So we're going to complete that pattern all the way around. 8 single crochet and then 2 single crochet together. That will leave us with 45 stitches at the end of this row. There's 8, and then these 2 will single crochet together. That's a total of 45 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch in the beginning stitch. For the next round, we're also doing reduction, but chain up 1 and then single crochet 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then single crochet two together, and single crochet 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and single crochet 2 together. All right, and complete that pattern around with 7 single crochet and then single crochet 2 together. And here's 7 and single crochet 2 together and slip stitch into the first row. All right, so we have reduced 2 times. That should put us at row 44. All right, so I want to try and add a little bit more stuffing here because I want to be able to put big pieces in there. I don't want it to look broken up. Just a little more. All right, next round we're going to reduce as well. Chain up 1 and then single crochet into that exact same space, and for a 6 single crochet total. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then single crochet 2 together, and repeat that pattern all the way around. 5, 6, and then crochet 2 together in the stitch, yarn over, in the next stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, slip stitch. And it looks like my mill end has a surprise for me. There's some blue in it. Oh, okay. So we're going to have some blue spots on our potato. All right, so we're going to continue to reduce until we get to the end of this. So chain 1, single crochet 5 times. Start in the first stitch where you chained 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then single crochet 2 together, and then 5. Try to keep your stitches fairly close together so that you don't end up with gapping in here. 2, you can use a smaller hook to accomplish that. 3, but everything will be tighter and your amigurumi will come out smaller. I mean, like I said, I'm using a 5mm hook, but I crochet really tightly. All right, so that should have been our 5th one. There's 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 together. It looks like I miscounted. All right, so you get the idea, right? 5 single crochet followed by single crochet 2 together. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 together. All right, I'll finish this pattern around and meet you at the end. Okay, so this time I managed to do it right. So these 2 will be 1 single crochet 2 together, And then we're going to slip stitch into our beginning stitch. All right, so it's getting smaller here, so I want to get some more stuffing in there. See how he's getting kind of oblong shaped here? It's because I'm stuffing all the stuffing down to the bottom so I can still crochet at the top. We'll straighten it all out once we close. All right. Get all them fuzzies in there. For this round, we are going to single crochet 4 times before our 2 together. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 together. One, and like how loose that was, tighten it up a little. 2, 3, 4, 2 together. All right, so finish that pattern around. Our last 2 stitches are going to be crocheted together, and then slip stitch into our first stitch. Chain 1, single crochet 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet 2 together. And then single crochet 3 times. And then single crochet 2 together. And I'll meet you at the end. All right, and then our last 2 are going to be together. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and 2 together. Slip stitch into the first stitch. All right, I'm going to pull that up a little, and I'm going to stuff a little more in there. A little more, but as I said before, I'm pushing it really far down, and we're going to make it a lot more even later. Okay, getting close to the end. For this round, chain up 1, 2 single crochet beginning in that first stitch, and then 2 together, and then 2 single crochet, two together, and 2 single crochet, two together, 2 single crochet, get a little yarn here, 2 together, 2 single crochet, and the last 2 here together. Slip stitch into our first stitch, that should take us to 15, chain 1, do 1 single crochet, and then 2 together, and do 1 single crochet and 2 together, 1 single crochet, 2 together, 1 single crochet, 2 together. Should have one more set here. One single crochet, and these last 2 here together. And then slip stitch into our first stitch. This takes us to 10 stitches. All right, so for this round, which is essentially the final round that you crochet, the rest will all be needlework. Chain up 1 and single crochet these 2 together. And then single crochet these 2 together. And the next 2. The next 2. And then the final 2. These are a little harder because you can't really get your finger in there. All right, so what I'm going to have you do is fasten off. But when you fasten off, I want you to have a good 2 feet or more of the yarn. All right. So you've got your 5 stitches around the top here. If you have one, grab your a rather long yarn needle. Mine's about 3.5, maybe 3 inches. This is important later on. Thread the needle. Okay. Ooh, sorry. So you see these 5 stitches. What I want you to do is grab the outside stitch of each of the 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that closes it completely. Just cinch it tight. Now take your potato and put a decent amount of force on it and roll it out like this. And that evens out the stuffing. So as long as you put enough in there, you should have a pretty decent looking potato. Now we need to make potato eyes. So what I want you to do take your long yarn needle, push it down somewhere in the top, and come out randomly someplace else. Don't pull too tight at the top, but it's tight enough. So now, after that, you're going to go into the stitch next to, so that we don't go back into the same stitch, and just come out randomly someplace else. And you're going to pull it, but not going to pull it too tight. You just want a little dent. Get some of the yarn here. All right, again, you're going to go back in, and you're going to go someplace else random. See, where do I want to go? I think I want to go up here. Just try to evenly space them out. Don't pull too tightly. If you feel like you've pulled tightly, then go back to where you put the last stitch and just rub it around. It'll loosen up some. So let's see. I think this one needs to be here. And again, I pulled that one a little tightly. Just go back and pull it back a little bit. Where do I want to go? I want to go back here. And here. All right, so what I would typically have you do, I didn't cut my string long enough. I would have you go work your way back up here to the top. Not really necessary, but once you got back to the top, you could tie a little knot, and the knots are not going to show as much if you're coming out in here. So I'm going to go down here. Hopefully it will work the same way. I think I need to get a smaller needle. Because I just want to create a small loop. If you have to use your hook, pull that back through there just so I can get a small bit of a knot. And to finish it off, boy, it's determined not to make it easy for me. Just push the needle back in through and come out somewhere and pull the thread through. Now this one's short enough that I'm not going to have to do anything with it, but typically you would pull it out a little tighter than what you want. Cut it off, and then once you cut it off, it will set itself back in. So let me see if I can't get this needle in here. Come out there. So you see how that little bit of yarn come out? Pull it a little tighter than what you wanted. Cut it kind of close. When you do, it'll suck itself back in. So this is our little potato buddy. He now has his little friend here. And I appreciate you guys watching, and happy crocheting!